Hey,
Good morning.
welcome.
Welcome
Yay,
to
we're
the
here.
second season of the
The Shmooze. Oh wow, this has been missing in my life. Like,
Yeah.
life just builds up and builds up and builds up, and it's just been missing. So yay,
Yeah,
I'm so glad
yeah.
we're doing this.
Yeah, me too.
But we've had a lot going on in our lives. You
Yeah.
had a lot going on in your life. I've had a lot going on in my life.
Right? And we tried recording a few times and then we forgot the sound and all kinds of things like that. So know that you guys were in our minds. We wanted to do this.
Yes. And here we are. We're doing it. We didn't give up. So we are
Yeah.
back, and today we are talking about
The marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh wow. There's so
That's
much to
a
talk
nice
about.
Jewish show.
It's a little language, but yeah, wow, it's a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
show. There's so many moments in that show that just, I love. One of the moments that I love is she's in the butcher, and the rabbi is breaking the fast. This is like season 1, and she's buying the lamb for the rabbi because the rabbi likes his lamb, and it's obviously a Jewish butcher. And she says, she's butting into everybody, and she says, well, what are you buying? I'm buying pork chops on the floor. On the floor. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the whole show. Let's talk about the characters, the development. Okay, so it starts off in the 1950s, and this nice little Jewish woman who wants to accomplish everything and be the perfect mother, wife, daughter, everything, but she ends up she loses a bit of herself in the process. Do you think?
Yeah, I think like every normal Jewish housewife at that time, wealthy or not, was it was built in that you had to let go of any personal stuff that you want for yourself and do for your family. My mom, she was a stay-at-home mom, and she is so not the person to do that.
Right.
But it was that was something they still did back in 1968 when I was born.
You were born in 1968?
Yes, I was.
Wow. Child of the 60s, man.
Mm-hmm. And even though it was 60s, it was I'm going to be a stay-home mom because that's what we do.
That's what society is.
And in the 50s, even more. I think the series is captures a very courageous woman that says, I'm more than just a mom, and I'm going to pursue my career as a stand-up artist in good and bad times, because in the beginning it's okay, she's privileged, she has Zelda at home to take care of her kids and food and everything, and she has her parents around, and but she still goes out against society and the beliefs of her times. But in the beginning she's okay, she can support herself, she has money, she's okay, she can follow her hobbies, whatever.
Right.
But then it becomes also something, you have to make money, you have to support your family, you have to live somewhere, and she does that as well. So it makes me really proud of her.
Mamash. Yeah, totally. Do you think that we're like that today? In as much as we've progressed, do you think there's still that element where women have to give up a part of themselves to be that role of mother, wife?
Yeah, but I think more and more today, we don't see it as giving up part of ourselves, but giving 2 parts of ourselves, because it's recognizing that motherhood is something that we want to nourish in ourselves. It's not something that, okay, I'm a mother, I have to deal with it. That's what I feel like I want to be a mother, it's something I want to prioritize, something I want to dedicate time to. It also goes back, it goes by pretty fast.
It does.
And your kids grow up and you have still a connection with them, but it's not like little kids when you're raising them, for the good and for the bad.
I think that it's something, like you said, that I want, that it's a part of me. And that I think it's an important part of me, but there's sometimes when I want a differentiation between Tova and mother. Like I want to be a person in and of myself.
Of course.
And sometimes like you said, it's different parts of you that you have to nourish and give to, and you have to give to yourself
as well
first.
Definitely.
But like, I'll give you an example. So I took the kids yesterday and we went to the beach. And at 6 o'clock, I called up my husband and I said to him, please make dinner, because we're going to be having humorous. And he says to me, it wouldn't have occurred to me if you hadn't called. Now, thank God I called, because otherwise I would have been really upset, really hungry, and I would have taken it out on my poor husband. But it didn't occur to him. But me, it's like, this is natural. Like, okay, we're going to come home, we're going to be hungry, and please, like the thought process, I think, once you're in that job of a mother,
right,
it's an automatic thing. Like you automatically think of,
I can tell you that still, like in the beginning of our marriage, when like I think my first daughter she was a baby, and I found myself, I was studying, I was a student in college, and also a mom, and also working a little bit. So one day I was like, found myself at school and I'm thinking about the laundry. And I said to Boaz, that's it. I'm not going to do this anymore. You have all the responsibility of the laundry. This is one thing that I'm taking out of my mind and putting into yours. I'm going to teach you everything I know about it. And you're going to just take care of it. And it really happened. It was like, I haven't thought about laundry in years until my washing machine broke. And, I have to deal with it. But it's really, it's a great thing to delegate something and just really delegate it, really leave it to the other person to worry about. There are not many areas I can do that. but yeah, I think, we have to, as you said, first to take care of ourselves, because as moms, our well-being really influences the whole,
God,
household.
Yes, totally. Like fill your own cup and then give to other people. Totally. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about all the characters.
Okay, great.
In that show, who do you like the best?
Susie.
She's great. She's great.
I love Susie. I think, it's like I like her because I don't understand her very much.
Okay.
And I like her because she's like always the underdog. Doesn't matter what happens.
Really?
She's like a fighting underdog. She's like, she gets treated like shit from her family, from everybody she encounters. Nobody really values her, and she has to like prove herself again and again and again. And she's funny.
Oh, she is.
She's funny. Like, it's also intriguing to me how she has like this very, very sharp sense of humor. And she's not the one doing the stand-up comedy. She's the one like in the back
pushing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she's a character that intrigues me.
Yeah.
And I don't know why she's like dressing in men's people. She's really attracted to women or not, because the series doesn't put that on the table. But there's also something about her, that I agree to be different, and this is who I am, and you'll have to relate to me no matter what. Deal with me.
Yeah, I like that. Also, they won several awards, like the Oscars and Emmys, and I don't know what. But you see her talking in real life, and she's also like, as a real life person, she's awesome. She has this spunk to her.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
You know who else I like? I like Lenny. I like Lenny a lot, and I like her father. Her father's funny. I mean, like in this like weird, detached, type of way. Like, he bothers me. Excuse me. But he's got this, like, you know, weird sort of nerdy type of humor, and then that's funny. But Lenny just, there's something about him that captures me, that, like, you know, you're this like tough guy and you've got all these problems, but underneath it all, underneath like the crustiness, there's a nice guy there. There's like a really nice guy there.
I don't like him being so, like, I don't know, needy.
You think he's needy?
Yeah. He's like, oh yeah, I'll do this, I'll sit in jail. But underneath it all, you know, he's like I see him like a poor soul, you know,
Really?
somebody who doesn't fit in eternally. And like, I need your laughs. I don't know.
Really?
That's what that's my take of him.
I see him as like,
it's like, you know, like the people that have to put on a show that I don't give a shit, but inside they're like the most neediest people. I don't know. That's my take. That's my take.
Wow, interesting. I see him as just somebody that, you know, lonely, yes, very lonely. But I see him as somebody who, you know, how does that song go? Looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yeah.
That. Yeah. So, but I think it's like a very interesting, like Miriam or Midge, like her parents, they didn't really understand her. They didn't really give her what I think they were terrible parents. Like,
they were very self-centered. I think like they're interested in their daughter is that she should be like they dreamed,
right?
Like they wanted,
right?
And we have that as parents sometimes, you know,
oh my God,
that we don't really see who's in front of us, and we just expect them to be like we want them to be. And
or something that was good for me or bad for me, automatically I put that on to my kids. Oh, that's going to be bad for you, and that's going to be good for you. And my like, this is my experience. It's not necessarily your experience, and you're your own person. You have the right to make your own decisions in your own right. Yeah. Wow. That hits, especially when they're older. You know. Like when they're younger, okay, we'll listen to you, you know everything. But when they get older and they start making decisions of their own and they become their own person, all of a sudden, like, it's hard for me to accept that they're going to make their own decisions. Right. They're going to make their own mistakes. Their lives are not my lives. And I don't have to, you know, I have to let them do that. And I have to distance myself. Even though sometimes I know it's going to be the wrong decision and they're going to make a mistake. And I'm, you know, and I'm not always successful, you know, and then you have to look in the mirror and you have to say, oh, well, I'm a good mom, but like, you know, I do this and this and this and this. And I really should have given that space for them to discover that this is a mistake or not, you know, like, I feel bad about that. That's something, you know, when
my kids do something that's like against what other people think. Okay. And against what I think. Okay. I say, I know where they got that from. Because I'm not the, you know, regular person to do the regular things as well. So like I try to like, you know, switch the whole situation and see that as an attribute that it really becomes them, because, you know, they have a free thinking mind, and they do their own decisions and their own thing. And even though, you know, like inside me, I'm like, no.
Right. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. It's crazy. Because like really you have the experience and the breadth and the width of life, but it's your life, you know, like you don't have their life. And identifying that they are their own separate person. Right. Even though, you know, I'm their mother and all that, they are their own separate person. And that's really hard for me. That is something that's like, I'm realizing it more and more. And I'm like, okay, Tova, step back. This is not your life. Yeah. And maybe they can do it better. Yeah. You know, I made a lot of mistakes. And let's hope that they make their own mistakes, but they don't make my mistakes.
Right. Definitely. So let's talk about more characters of the series, because I think the series has a very good character build for each character. It doesn't matter how small or big or what.
Yeah.
So Joel and Joel's parents.
Oh my gosh. Wow. There's that scene where she goes into Joel's mother. She goes into Midge's parents' house. And she's like, do you want some soup? And they're like, no, we don't want some soup. Do you want some soup? Of course you want some soup. Here, I'm just going to take out some soup from the freezer. And I'm just like, wow. Wow. That was just like, oh my God, Jewish mother. Like, wow. Not only Jewish mother, but like Jewish mother, like, ah, in your face.
Yeah.
Tell me, what do you think about Joel and Joel's parents?
I think it's really depicting, like, we know these characters. We know them from our lives.
Yes.
We grew up around these people.
We did.
Maybe my bubby, you know, somebody like that, you know? And it has a little charm to it, you know? It can drive you bonkers on one hand, but on the other hand, you know, sometimes you wish somebody was like so caring and overprotective to you.
Yeah, there's something to that.
It comes from the heart. It's not something they do just because they have to do it. It really comes from the heart. And I think the show also depicts that.
Yeah.
It's not just you know, nudging and just gossiping and being on top of things, but it's also genuine caring. And you know, sometimes when we're like so enlightened and we let our kids, okay, do your own thing, maybe we lose some of that caring. Ooh, maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
There's something to that. Wow. You're giving me a lot to think about. Wow.
But it's easier to just, okay, do this, you know, you do your own thing. And there's also, you know, as we spoke before, it's also important to let them do their own thing.
Right. But it kind of negates that. So you have to find
you have to,
that balance. Right. You know, when to overprotect the mother and when to stay back. And that's like the dance, I think. Like it's, you know, just when do I let my kids make their own mistakes? And when do I say, it's okay, I'm gonna be here for you. I'll put soup in your freezer and I think it's interesting. That's the balance that we try to find. Okay, let's talk about Joel. What do you think about him?
He's a guy who has really good intentions and always does the wrong thing.
I love the Chinese woman that he hooks up with.
She's like a Jewish Chinese woman.
She's fun. She's a lot of fun. And it was just like, you know, his father says to him, he's something like, when he finds out about this relationship, he's like, okay, I don't care, but you have something until I get home from the hospital or something to make her Jewish.
Right.
So there is that, you know, like, oh, we're very progressive, we're very liberal, we're very allowing, but you know, you got to stick to being, you know, who you are and being Jewish. And also, I think this was like in the aftermath of the Holocaust. Like, this is right. You know, so that would have been very strong then. Like, look what we just went through, and you're not going to do that.
Right. Also, Miriam as a brother was married to it's her brother or his brother? I think it's her brother, who's married to a woman who converted.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did we ever meet the brother?
Yeah. And she's like really religious. She's into religious in her own way, but she's like, because she converted, so she's like more into things than the whole family.
What is that, like the you know, people who discover God and religion knew, you know, it's like a, there's a word for it.
Newborns. newly born into religion.
Like hell and brimstone type of people. Like, this is the way it is. And there is something to be said about that. I admire that. Like, it's not for me, but sometimes I wish I had more of that. Like that thing. Let's talk about how each parent, like we talked a little bit about Midge's parents, but also let's talk about Midge as a mother and Joel as a father and Joel's parents. I think it's very interesting, like how they raise their children. We said that we don't think that Midge had good parents.
I don't think she was such a great parent herself.
That's it. Like, also,
somebody else will take care of this.
Zelda.
Yeah. We don't see a lot of warmth between her and her kids.
No.
Her kid hangs up the phone on her when she calls her son from her tour. And I don't know how much she really cares, and it doesn't seem like it bothers her so much. I mean, maybe not every woman is so maternal.
Right. I was thinking about that. Like that she struggles with that. What happens if I'm not, she talks about it. She says, what happens if I wasn't meant to be a mother? Like, and that also, like, that's very much a part of our society, even today,
right.
40, 50, 60 years later. It's still, you wouldn't have somebody saying, oh, I don't want to have kids because I'm not a maternal.
Yeah, there are some people who say that today, but they're really a minority.
Minority, and you look at them going, what do you mean?
How can that be?
How do you not want to be a mother?
Yeah, but some people are, some people are, it's just, but I think, there's also something healthy about that, because
but the admission,
knowing who you are, what you can give to your kids, and supplying other people to do it if you're not really into it. So, they have their grandparents around, and they have Zelda around. They're getting like an education, and they're getting warmth, I'm sure, from the grandparents. It's not like they're getting a real mom, but they're getting something.
I think Joel was a good father.
Yeah.
He was a good, attentive father.
Yeah.
And I think that he just a good person doing their own thing, like you said. I mean, he had great business ideas, and he just couldn't stand that, living in that framework that had been cut out for him.
Right.
Which is why I think he always went and did like these things that may or may not have suited him, but he was, as a person, he took full responsibility for what he did.
Yeah.
He supported his kids, he supported Midge.
Right.
And he was also a very good businessman. Like, I think living under his father's shadow would have cast him into like a nobody, like I have no self-worth. And then how do you make your own way by, breaking that, that pan that, or
doing your own thing.
Yeah.
Your own thing.
Or trying to.
Yeah.
I don't admire what he did, but I do admire the fact that they made him take responsibility for what he did and how he acted. I think, yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. You know what I love on the show? I love all the dresses that she wears. Oh, wow. Like, they spend a lot of time and a lot of thought coordinating her outfits and coordinating like how she's dressed vis-a-vis the times, and it's fun. Like, would you want to dress like that?
Not my cup of tea. No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But I like previous eras. I like these big, huge gowns with the puffy sleeves, if you dress me up, that's what I always loved.
We were at a wedding,
but I love the colors.
The colors were great, and like the design.
Yeah, the way everything fits together.
Yes.
The hat and
all
the little parts, and
we were at a wedding, apropos like big wide dresses, And so, everybody's like color schemed, right? So you have all these, and these little girls were wearing these dresses that were like out to here, and I'm just looking at them, and the dresses were beautiful, and they look so nice, and when you twirl around, but I'm looking at the kid, and the kid just, she's got a hula hoop under her dress, and I'm going, this must be so uncomfortable for you, like I just kept looking at this poor little girl, she's got this dress out to here, and like every movement, but like sitting down is like, like a whole coordination thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt like it was just like, oh, give me jeans and a sweatshirt, I'm good. Is there anything else we want to talk about the show?
I think let's talk a little bit about the Jewish part of the show. Okay. Like a lot of Jews growing up back then had somewhat of a Jewish awareness, but somewhat not. Like we belong to the world, but we're also Jewish on the way. It's not like today. Like I feel like I live here in Israel, or even my mom, that we have a very strong Jewish consciousness. Do
you think that's because we live in Israel?
Also,
like, would you be the same if you were living in America?
I don't know, because when I lived in America for a year, and so I was very frum, but I could feel there's something of the holiness missing, Living in Israel really adds to your Jewishness. There's no way around it. You feel I don't know, for like people who are not very connected to Judaism, and they go from Israel to America, they feel more connected because they need the community, and they have like the davening on Shabbos and the Kiddush and everything. But those are very small ties, I think.
That explains Chabad, why Chabad is so successful abroad, like in the East and in the Far East. Why people go dafka and they find Chabad and they look for Chabad when they are not in Israel.
Right, because they want the Jewish connection, and it's very important to them that we're there, because you feel like you want to, emphasize your Jewishness somehow.
Right.
And here, people can live like totally detached from Judaism, but really not really.
I was going to say, can you really live in Israel and be detached from it?
I mean, most kids are going to do bar mitzvah somewhere or the other. There's the holidays that are like, even if you're not religious, most people do them.
Okay.
And it's just a sense of being Jewish, that it's all over.
Yeah. It's like something you can't detach yourself from.
Yeah.
I've been in this country for 25 years, and I still get like emotional when I see like, Chaylim wearing kippot. When I see a bus driver saying Baruch Hashem, Shabbat Shalom, on the Egged thing, it doesn't say Merry Christmas, it says Shabbat Shalom.
Right.
All the stores, they don't have Christmas lights, they don't have Christmas decorations, they have Hanukkah lights and Hanukkah paraphernalia. And everybody celebrates Purim on some sort of level.
Right.
Even with the elections yesterday, it's like this holy day that all Jews get dressed up for to complain about their government. It's like, what? I think that's there's also like a certain holiness yesterday. Like I was like, oh, it's like a yantif, like you're maybe it's like a Sunday that I don't get.
Yeah, we don't get Sundays here. But also, the Bible, the Tanakh, is so woven into life.
Yeah.
And when I was at my son's, how do you say, ashba? Swearing into the army, and they quoted psukim from the Bible, from Yeshua, and it was just like, wow. It's amazing. It's like, this is what Yeshua said to the nation of Israel.
Oh, I'm so
many years ago, and now they're saying it to my son.
Oh.
It really feels so connected. So, we are really connected to God. We are really a truly special nation. And I think Jews in America like can feel a sliver of that, not the whole thing. It's
Right.
like you get to taste a little piece of the cake.
Right.
While the whole cake is somewhere over here. Sorry about that, guys. Those of you who live in the States, you have to come here and really live here and experience it. I'm my mom's daughter. She always like every time we have guests from America, she's on their case. Come to Israel, live in Israel, and yeah, it's a different experience.
Yeah.
And it has its prices,
Totally.
but definitely a different experience.
We've actually done the math, Yaakov and I. You take a from family in Israel and a from family in Canada, like his own family, you do the math, My Yaakov's grandmother had 6 kids, which in that time was also like, they weren't and they weren't religious necessarily. And she was raising them. They were raised in New Brunswick, which is like Cape Town. Out of the 6, so Yaakov's father is the only one that had more children than what he grew up with, and then this branch of the family is the only one that has really like multiplied and had more children and continued. And they might marry Jewish first generation, maybe second generation, maybe third generation, but how long can you keep that going? Eventually the statistics, we've done that math, and it's a scary thing, because you're talking about like more than 50% assimilation, 60, 70, 80, sometimes 90% assimilation in certain parts of North America. And you're going, oh my God, we're just destructing ourselves. Whereas here you might still assimilate, but you have a higher chance of retaining that Jewishness in you.
Right.
It's scary. It's really, really scary. Anything else we want to talk about on this show?
Comedy. Let's talk a bit about comedy. Okay.
That's what the show's about.
Yeah. Stand-up comedy. I think it takes so much guts.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so much guts.
It's awakened me to stand up there and do it. It's something I would love to do.
Yeah, me too.
It's like on my list, I think.
Yeah, definitely on my list as
well.
But
I think, and I've seen this with a bunch of comedians, also in this show, but also in real life comedians. It's like you have to use foul language and be crude.
No, you don't have to.
I mean, like if I ever stood up.
It seems like it's a requirement, but I know it can be done differently.
I want to do it differently.
There's on YouTube something called the dry bar.
Okay.
And that's clean stand-up.
Yeah.
You can watch endless chapters of it.
All right.
Great different.
Did you guys hear that?
Dry bar.
Dry bar. After the Shmooze.
Yeah, we're promoting them. They're located in Provo and Utah. Which is
like
a religious state, so it's clean stand-up.
Wow, it's called the Dry Bar.
Yeah,
okay.
And I guess maybe they don't serve alcohol. I don't know, but it's a dry bar.
But it bothers me that like there's so many. It's either let's make fun of other people, let's use sexual innuendos, and let's use foul language. You don't have to be funny.
You don't have to. Really don't have
to do that. And in my eyes, when people start doing that, it cheapens.
Right.
It cheapens them. It cheapens them, and it cheapens their humor. Yeah. Like if I can get on stage and make fun of me, if I make fun of me, that's funny.
Yeah.
If I always use this example, like when I was in Fleming, like a public high school. So we grew up like you do not use the N-word. Like no way. Like it's disgusting. It's obnoxious. It's everything that is bad. And then you go through the halls and they're calling each other, hey, what's up? And I'm like, whoa. And it hit me that somebody can make fun of himself, but if somebody else makes fun of me, that's not funny.
Right.
That's not cool.
Right.
Like if I say, oh, I'm this, and this and that, I can laugh at myself and yay. I can laugh at myself, when I try to spell in Hebrew. I can laugh at myself when I try to make sense of this language, and I try, but if somebody else says to me, oh, you think you can talk Hebrew? It's not funny,
Right.
and I think humor should be clean and kosher without, you don't have to be like, oh, religious, blah, blah, but like the minute you make fun of somebody else, that's not funny.
Yeah. And also it's important to see, like, a lot of comedians, they find fun and laughter and comic situations in their own lives. And there's a fine line between, sharing that and keeping your family's privacy. Right. And it's a challenge. Right. I think it's a very big challenge, but I think it can be done. And I know it can be done. So. And but it really, this show inspires me, to someday do this.
Someday, yeah.
I'd love to do stand up. It's so much.
Maybe that's next.
I tried once and I really bummed it. I tried once and it was really lousy.
I think that's where Susie comes in, that she says, okay, so you bombed, and now you get back on the stage.
And then you get back and you try again.
And you're going to bomb again, and you're going to bomb again. And I think that's one for greatness. I guess.
We all need one Susie.
And a Zelda.
Oh, yeah. We need a Zelda. Big time.
I'm okay if her name is Janet. Also, Janet would be okay. Fine. Also, like from The Good Place.
Oh,
she'd be okay too. Yeah. Zelda would be fine. I don't care. You know what? You want to call her Xing Cheng Wei? You want to call her Yafa? You want to call? I don't care. Just come.
Yeah.
Just come already.
Maybe someday we'll have our personal, robot intelligent thing that goes around the house and cleans up and knows where everything is.
Knows where everything is.
After she cleaned up. Where did she put this?
Where did she put it? Yes, I think that sometimes it would just be like somebody to think about dinner. Right. Sometimes like just thinking about what I'm going to make for dinner is like, if somebody would just give me, okay, this is what you're having, I can make it, no problem. But like the actual thinking process.
You remind me what I do. Well, like once in a while, I do like a 2-week menu.
Okay.
For lunch and dinner.
Fun.
And then I have a list. So I do like a wintry thing like that, and a summer. Right. And for a while, when I follow that, that's really great. So it makes it shopping easier. Right. It makes, you don't have to wreck your mind and everything.
I once took this course. It's very interesting that you're saying that. I once took this course on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has all these like courses. So I once took this course on how to become more creative. And what they said was, it was actually interesting. The more rules that you have, the more restrictions that you have, the more creative you become.
Right.
And when you think about it, at first you would think, no, let the creativity flow. Like that would be me, right?
Right.
But after I took this course, I was like, oh my God, like I'm like, oh, let's break away from the box and get out of the box and, but after I took that course, you realize that you need the box. Right. You need that structure to give you that creativity. And if you don't have that structure and rules and regulations, the creativity might be there, but it just, there's no direction, there's no flow for it. But so yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. I think that we have finished season 2, episode 1.
Finally,
the Shmooze. Yes, finally.
We hope to be back on track.
Yes. We hope
to record the sound each time
and the video,
and make sure everything's okay.
Mm-hmm. And so we will see you next week on the Shmooze.